Hey folks, welcome to Mountainside. Well, been a little busy here on the mountain. Just trying to keep up with stuff. Yeah, so it's been a little bit hectic just trying to do the everyday kind of chores and getting things done that needed to be done. Well, folks, I'm here trying to figure out what to do with the boys' next move. But we've been moving the Rams every day, except for when we were gone away. Then I had them in that corner spot. If you saw my post, the before and after of what animals do and why we use animals to help clear land. I don't know. Can you guys hear that sound? To me, it reminds me of like the original Star Trek series. Some of the sounds that you would hear on there usually used to torture. They're the cicadas this year that we have, and they're just loving life right now, I guess. But yeah, it's been a little busy. A little busy. Been quite busy around here. You know, we had the second batch of baby chicks show up, so we're tending with them. Of course, the baby lambs. We were milking twice a day, but we're already down to once a day. It's still getting almost the same volume of milk, so half the work, the same production. That's very helpful. We had the two events that we went to. Amy was at our Town and Trail Fest here in Hot Springs, representing Mountainside Homestead Ministries. Giving out a lot of free product from True Leaf Market, which we were very thankful for. Both herb kits and microgreen kits. I went to Mountain Readiness with a friend of mine. We hung out there, got some great information, met some really cool people. Had a really good time with that. Then come back home. It's like you gotta kind of try to catch up in those couple of days. Then after that, we got into harvesting the two pigs. That went well, except for like one minor issue of them getting out and running around for a while. But that was fine. So we took care of them. Then I put a lot of that on the smoker. Got a lot of that pork smoked now. Currently have some pork belly in our marinade for our bacon. Then I'll get that on the smoker maybe this weekend. What else? Oh, graduation. We had a family in town. Amy's folks were in town, came down to visit for a while. They had a good time. We had a good time visiting with them. Amy's kids were out. We all enjoyed some fellowship, you know, good family time, some good food. You know, that's what it's about. It really is. You know, that's why we do what we do. You know, it's our faith, family, food, fundamental living. You know, and when we're running around ragged trying to get everything done, and you never get everything done, it's, you know, you always feel like you're falling behind as you're pushing forward. But, you know, it's important to know the why of why you do this. You know, this is a day when I'm trying to get the boys moved so I can take that fence, put it somewhere else because I got to move the goats. I have not been enjoying the goats lately. So I got to get them to a place where they could be for a bit. Then, you know, just keeping up with the dailies of everything. Doesn't leave a lot of time to do other stuff, like getting the greenhouse up and, you know, working on getting the high tunnel here, all that kind of thing. You know, it's just only so much time in a day. And now with Amy working off site, you know, full time, it's even more of a strain. So when she comes home, you know, we kind of switch gears into what we could do together and milking, things of that nature. But right now, I got to finish this move with the boys. So again, I could take that fence and move the goats and keep going from there. All right. We're going to see if these guys will walk nicely or not. I sure hope they do. Last couple moves have been fine, but you never know. You could be in a mood. It seemed like they're okay today. So let's focus on this. Be good, boys. Be good. Because like I said, it's only me here right now, so good boys. Nice and easy. Nope, over here. This way. You're on the wrong side. Hey. Here. Come on. Over here. Claude. Come on. Come on, Clark. Inside. You're on the wrong side, Claude. Oh, come on, buddy. Over here. Come on. Come on. Inside. Inside. There you go. Wasn't too bad. Claude got a little overzealous with where he was going, but it's quite all right. You know, during all this busy season, it can be overwhelming, but and tiring. You wake up sore in the morning. You know, just gotta get your stuff together before you get out of bed. That's when you really gotta. Ha! Let's look at my funny hat going. All right. And that's when you really gotta know what your why is. I never chose to be a homesteader. This was not my choice of careers by any stretch of the imagination, but it is what I'm called to do. You know, I can't express that part enough. You know, my faith, again, sometimes this would be easier with somebody else to shoot the video, but it's not where I'm at. But my faith, doing what the Lord has called me to do, you know, is always my first priority. being obedient to Him, what He would have me do. It'd be easier to go out and get a 9 to 5, not slip and fall like that. Thankfully, I didn't fall. But I've tried. I've actually put my name out there in the job world, and a couple times for a couple things. There we go. Fix that. But it's not what I'm called to do. And I know that because of how hard the door's been shut every time. But me being human and flesh, I still try to do things my way. Until I surrender and just give it over to the Lord, take His direction. So that's one of the things I'm trying to focus on here. Following the Lord's direction in our life. Yeah, moving feed buckets, animals, water troughs. Didn't see that as a calling, but it is. Now, the other thing we started doing is doing our Bible readings and study. To answer that calling too, because as a Christian, we're all called to spread the gospel. So that's what we do every day in our walk and our talk. But even more specifically, Sunday evenings at 6:30. We go live with our live stream, which we're still working on, but we're doing some gospel readings, as part of our ministry calling, because that's a live stream, live in-person gathering to read and discuss Scripture. So that's one why. Faith, which is always the first why. At least it should be the first why. It should be the first why we do anything. Whether you're homesteading or working a 9 to 5. Your faith should be the reason that you're doing it. The second why, is family. We do this to help grow and protect our family. Whether it's family via blood, family via marriage, family by our brotherhood in Christ. It's all family. Growing family, growing friends. Just having family here. Celebrating graduations and having the farm on display. Kind of showing how we live day to day for family. It was really neat. Because we do live a different lifestyle. We don't live as I'd say probably 90% of the world lives. 95% of the nation. It's a very simple life. Not easy, but simple. And if we stay focused on those 4 F's, faith, family, food, fundamental living, it all just flows with itself. Doing everything we do for the honor and glory of our God and our Savior, Jesus Christ. Building up family relations, whether they be blood family, married family, friends that you call family, and the family of brotherhood of Jesus Christ. Sorry, sometimes it's hard to talk and walk and carry all at the same time. Oh boy. Food is a critical part of our family. And we learned that because we did a fast. Amy and I did a fast for 2 days. And it was good for us physically. And that's what we did it for, just for physical reasons. And to see what happened. But I think the biggest thing we learned is so much, even though most of the time it's just the 2 of us, so much of our life and our family fellowship and our conversations happen around food. And Amy just loves being in the kitchen cooking. So when we were fasting and she's not cooking, she got sad. And it was interesting. It was definitely a lesson learned. I'm not saying we'll never do a fast again, but definitely a lesson learned. Now, family is the other reason y'all are even seeing this. Because this is how we keep our family members updated on how things are going around here. It's really hard to do in a phone call or a text. So, started doing this, especially for my mom, so she could see how things are going on the farm. But, almost fall down. My feet just got tangled in a fence. That's okay. Yeah. So Mom could see how things are going. My uncle, and now Amy's folks, and everybody else. Huh? Sister, I think, watches. My cousin watches. I've got so many pokey things around me right now. I'm trying to figure out which way I can turn. This is definitely one of those spots where you could easily lose your mind putting in a fence. Even though the reality is, it's not worth it. Lose your mind over it. But it is not easy. Ow, ow, ow. And this is the spot that we're going to use the goats once again to work on clearing, because I failed to make time to get in here and clear out these little trees. And when the kids come out to visit, it's always nice to have them involved and helping out things around the farm. Even though I'm not very great at communicating it, it's always nice to have them out and helping. But you know, this is definitely one of those, again, I'm going to say it again, one of those days, this time of the year, where your why has to be your reason. Ooh, you might even be able to see me now. I'm actually underneath our swarm trap right now, which did not catch any bees. That's okay. When the Lord is ready for us to have bees, we'll have bees. If he wants us to have bees, we'll have bees. If not, we won't. So, here I am. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this fence up. I already laid this one out before. The other one's cutting through the trees there. So the next why is our food. We all know how horrible the food system is and how long we've been lied to about what's good, what's not good, how we should be eating. Horrible, absolutely horrible lies. But you know, right now we're at a point where we grow probably 90% of our own meat. You know, we raise our own sheep for milk, meat, and wool. We grow egg-laying chickens for ourselves and for sale. Help offset some of the costs. Still looking for better ways to do that without having outside inputs. We raise meat chickens. Again, looking for better ways to do that without as many inputs. We raise pigs. I think I need to put a picture from the smoker right around here. As we're talking about the food again. Again, the bacon's marinating. Or I should say the pork belly is marinating to be turned into bacon. If y'all don't make your own bacon, you don't know what you're missing. But if you are one of our friends who choose not to partake in the pork, we respect that too. But one thing that happened while family was here, on the topic of family and food, is they actually worked to get some of our seeds planted for us. We're very thankful for that. And I think so. I'm not at all sure what got planted. You know, our trays from Bootstrap Farmer, but they are here and they are germinating, and we'll see what happens. Now, the other day, last week, the goats, they got out, you know, at morning chores. And I don't know if you got goats or not, where you're at on your scale of goat love. But it took me 2 hours to get these two little goats back inside a fence. And that's when the goats officially became Amy's goats. Send her a text saying that your goats have been out for 2 hours. So now I'm building this pen, paddock, spot, whatever you want to call it, specifically for them, in hopes that they will clear out some of these trees that I failed to clear, so that if I have the opportunity to put some time into this spot, I can come back in, ouch, and take them out. The trees, that is. Some of you may wonder why or how do the goats fit in to our system. I don't plan on eating the goats, but if they pull their shenanigans like they did the other day, being out for 2 hours, that's not out of the question. But the goats are a tool that we use to help clear land. So unfortunately for them, they do get extended stays in spots, so they get bored. When goats are bored, goats are mischievous, and my fence is tangled, my fence is tangled. So I really try not to get upset with the goats when they're misbehaving. But yeah, being so busy also leads to the frustration of not being where we wanted to be food-wise with our planting. I think our expectations were really high for ourselves. And we ran into a couple setbacks, which kind of... Sorry, I'm tripping over a fence as I'm trying to talk. And I'm trying not to fall. But as those setbacks happened, then we get into, lambing season, milking season, spring flush, moving animals every day. There's only so many hours in the day. So we're trying to figure out how to add more hours to our day. No, but there's a lesson in it for us, and trying to understand what the lesson is and figure out the timing, where we're supposed to be, what we're supposed to be doing. We know we're on the right track, but we also know that everything will happen in His timing. So the planting, the food growth, all of that, getting things in place. Some things we have in place, other things are still waiting on. But now is not the time for expansion. I know that for sure. Now is the time to maintain and work through. But Amy did find a great resource that is coming into our community for fresh vegetables. That happens every Tuesday. And we are thankful for that. This would not be fencing's in with Ken. Hi, Max. Well, I guess that one worked out pretty good. But again, you know, this is the spot where we planned on having our greenhouse and high tunnel. Started to work on all that, but we'll get back to it. Just not the season right now. Okay. Now, I'm sorry, I got a bunch of stuff in my hand. So, faith, food, family, family, food, fundamental living. Oh, did it. Goats are already down here, so we're cool. They walked nice. Put a lead on Burrito, and Fajita just kind of followed along. So that worked out fine. But fundamental living. Some people call it prepping. Preparedness. We just kind of call it life. Oh no, my wire broke. But again, being prepared for things that may happen. And living a fundamental lifestyle or should I say living a lifestyle that will fundamentally continue no matter what happens. And we have food grown, access to other foods, working on water to maintain that. But it's also got to support the first three. Your lifestyle should support, your fundamental living should support your, how you live and why you live. Oh, there's a hawk. Hey, Annie. Annie. Look. Go tell it no. Nope, up. That way. She doesn't see it. I see it, I hear it. But the way we live, sorry. There she goes. Now she sees it. It supports our faith. Are we living a life for us? Or are we living a life for the Lord? Are we being good stewards of what the Father has given us? Are we doing things to build up our family and our friends? And are we fellowshipping with them around our food? You know, to live a healthier lifestyle. Well, that's the other thing with the food is, we're trying to be healthier people too. Not that we're out of shape or unhealthy, but we know this ground has been beat up, sprayed continuously. Who knows what else has been done to it? But the nutrients in the ground aren't there that used to be. So we're looking for ways to revitalize that. To make the soil healthier, to make the pasture healthier, to make the animals healthier, which will ultimately make us healthier. So it's a stewardship process, and it starts there and flows through. So we're looking for ways to do that. We're looking for ways to keep the toxins out of our bodies, that are either being sprayed or with Amy doing cleanup efforts in the area. She's by the river, so what are we doing to make sure that she's staying healthy, and any kind of toxins that are getting into her are getting out of her, to help protect her health. Same with our family and friends. What are, once we learn these things, can we pass that knowledge forward and teach them? So it's all these things that are fundamentally part of life. If we're growing, and growing as a person, and we're learning, and we're not sharing that, what good are we? We need to be sharing all this. Just like we share the gospel, we need to share the knowledge that we're learning, because so much of this knowledge has been lost. But as we gain this knowledge, we're trying to pass it along. It doesn't always come across in our videos, but when we're having conversations face to face with people, in our classes, like we have our chicken butchering class coming up, the end of the month, that I think we still have one spot open for. So if you're interested, email is in the link below. Send us an email, let us know. And then, like watching happy animals, even if it is a goat. But yeah, if you want to come out for a farm tour, hang out for a little bit, see what it's like, help us out here. Tour the area, put some money into our community. Might have to edit that out, I don't know. But I don't know. That's life, isn't it? So this video may be a little soapboxy as I'm going through things, but I think it's very important to get out there, get the information out there of what we're all about here. Whew. And sometimes I just gotta get a good shot of the green screen behind me. But yeah, well, if you enjoy this content, hit the like button, subscribe. We're not doing it for the likes and subscribes. Again, we do it to keep people updated, keep the word out there, keep our family updated, and maybe pass along some food growth knowledge and some fundamental living knowledge. But for me and Annie, Amy's off site somewhere. Y'all take care now.